Welcome to the Sexy Freedom Media Podcast, a place to discuss pain, passion, and pursuits.
Let's get it. I want to feel alive.
Breathe.
Make some moves.
Protect the throne. This is Sexy Freedom Media Podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to Sexy Freedom Media Podcast. I'm your host, January Liddell, and
Helen Edwards.
And today we are talking about women who dare to be millionaires. And we're really excited about this topic because we're on our way as well. So we'd like to share that with you. Helen, you read this amazing book, and I want to know more about this book because I've actually never heard of it. So what is the name of the book and what inspired you?
So the name of the book is called Everyone Should Be a Millionaire by Rachel Rodgers. And it has really opened my eyes, especially about minority women and our rise to becoming millionaires. I definitely recommend the book. Go check it out on Audible. You can find it on our Facebook page, Everything Woman. One of the things about this book that really spoke to me was that it was focused towards not just women, but minority women and Native American women, Latina women, Black women, Asian women, and the suppression that we've had over us for years, and how, this is our time to really step out more than ever to become millionaires, to dare to be rich. And I want to say one of the key aspects that stuck out to me was that she said, stop apologizing to everybody. Stop apologizing to yourself. Stop apologizing in general for your lack of knowledge in the money wealth building arena, because of our systematically imposed and doused in and basically programming to not know what the wealthy know. So stop apologizing. You're wasting your energy doing that, and start stepping into the know, the how, the make it happen.
I like that she said that stop apologizing. I'm really good at apologizing. I think that's it comes from my culture, how I was raised. I say sorry, and my husband will tell me, stop apologizing. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. And just step into it. You're right. She's right. The author is right. Step into it and learn more. And I love, Helen, when we first started our year in January, we were talking about money mindset. And that was probably the most inspiring time that we've had, because you and I have been intentionally listening to podcasts and reading and all that, and just really diving into it. And I love that we're, just like what the book said, women who dare to be millionaires. And that is us. We are daring to be millionaires. And there is a lot, that goes into that path of becoming a millionaire. And I think as a minority, there's the ceiling. Sometimes we feel like there's this ceiling, but I feel like there's this, it's an invisible ceiling that we're telling ourselves we can actually create the millions that we want as long as we put our mind to it. But I feel like there are limitations that we put on ourselves, and that prevents us from moving forward and stepping into it. And so I think when it all boils down, it boils down to, reading more, learning more, and changing our programming for those who are daring to becoming millionaires.
Yeah, what you said is putting these limitations on us. Why is it such a struggle for some people to move forward in making money, in making big money moves, big changes in their life when it comes to financial dealings? Why is it so hard when the person next to you can easily do it? It comes back to your programming. You can find yourself fighting with yourself for months, even years, to do something you can get done in 1 week. And when you start thinking to yourself, why did it take me so long? It's because you had a program inside of you that is years and years and years embedded from your parents, their parents, their parents' parents, or your aunts, uncles, your grandparents, whoever it is that influenced their life. And then it became your life. And I know that's true for me. I just never saw it in this perspective. And once I had that perspective change, I realize I have the power to choose now to change those generational curses, those generational beliefs. And I even had this conversation with my son. My son is half German and Irish and Native American Latino. And I said to him, you are a minority. You are part of me. I am your mother and I am a minority. And we have this amazing stepping stool in front of us to step up and do things that some of our ancestors didn't get that opportunity to do. Now, I want to share this story, and a lot of people have heard about this woman. There's a movie about her, Madam C.J. Walker. I just want to read her early life here. She was born Sarah Braidlove on December 23rd, 1867, in close to Louisiana. Her parents were Owen and Minerva. I'm reading this from the Google. I don't want to get it wrong. She had 5 siblings, and she was, I mean, I don't know if this is, I don't want to read this wrong, but it says she was, I'm going to butcher this. This is why I don't like reading things, but basically she came from an enslaved family. I'm the worst with storytelling. Okay, I need to change that story. I'm not the worst. I'm just not great at it all the time. But if you don't know who Madam CJ Walker is, go Google her. She's fantastic. I feel like when I hear about her story, I can interpret it so well, but apparently I cannot. So go check her out. She became a millionaire in her lifetime. I mean, born 1867 to May 25th, 1919. Like, her life was in an era where people of minorities were not millionaires. We were not rich. We didn't have that opportunity. They were 1 in a million to make it, and she made it, and she showed that it was possible by selling her hair products and then offering jobs to other women who were minorities to start their own businesses. I mean, the story is fantastic, and I'm probably way too hyped up and excited about it, and that's why I'm stumbling over my words. But it's like I'm starstruck just by her story alone, and I'm empowered by her story alone. Not just hers, but many others who the odds were against them, and they defied it. And that was just back in that era. Can you imagine how hard it was to start literally from nothing? And she was in an abusive relationship, and she got through that. She would, everything that was thrown at her, she just overcame. And it makes me think, for me personally, what I've gone through, the abuse I've gone through, the struggles I've gone through, the homelessness I've gone through, and how here I am in my 40s on my road to becoming a millionaire. It's possible. And I remember 10 years ago, I wanted to become a millionaire, but it was all words. And I'd say, I believe it, but it was all words. I didn't believe it. And I can tell you that. And you know, in our audience, you know that when you say, I'm going to be a millionaire, you know whether or not you actually believe it versus when you do feel the belief. And there's a massive difference. And it goes back to the reprogramming. What do you think, January?
Yeah, so CJ Walker, I watched that movie on Netflix. I actually did not know about her until I saw it on Netflix. I said, oh my gosh, that is insane that this woman in that era decided to, well, she was in an abusive relationship. So she had a lot of things that were not going her way. And somehow she overcame all of those adversities. So she's very inspiring, because not only did she get herself out, and because she's also a mom, right? So during the time that she was marketing her hair product, she's a mom as well. So she very, very inspiring. She's very inspiring. I'm excited to read more about her because movies are one thing, right? You actually have to really read about her life story. But that movie did inspire me. It did show me that, well, where there's a will, there's a way. And I've always known that. I've always known that phrase, where there's a will, there's a way. I have a story. So this was the Great Aloha Run on Tuesday, and my son and I ran it. We were going up to mile 3. So we were just like inching our way towards mile 3. My right calf has been in pain. Like I've actually injured it last year. And so this was my first race since last year. And I said, oh my gosh, I can feel it, my ankle. And then my son, he's got a knee issue. And he was like, Mom, I'm so in pain. And we're just like walking at this point, but we're walking fast, right? So that was close to mile 3. And I said, do you want me to hold you? Do you want me to, before, because we did this before, we ran the Great Aloha Run before. I used to carry him on my back because he was small enough for me to carry on my back. Obviously, I can't do that now. He's much taller, but I was going to like at least hold him up and just walk him over. He said, no. I said, no, I'm going to do this. I said, okay. So we ran our hearts out. Okay. So we ran our hearts out, walked our hearts out. And his goal was to finish at 8:50. So 8:50. We started at 7 a.m. Well, actually past 7 a.m. because it was a lot of people. And he wanted to finish at 8:50. And I'm like, okay. And it's an 8.15 mile run. Okay. So we were close to the finish line. When we were close to the finish line, man, I ran, he ran, we were both running. The whole point of the story, we did make it to our goal, by the way. So we made it to our goal. So the whole point of the story is where there's a will, there's a way. So with CJ Walker, she had the willpower, the drive, the work ethic, to get to where she wanted to go. And she wanted to help other people. I think that was the other most amazing thing, is that she wanted to help other women who were also, in her shoes. And I want to say that it's possible. Anything is possible. But like I said earlier, the issue is that we do put these limitations on ourselves. And we do have these excuses and, things that happen. Sometimes they're not excuses. Sometimes they're life things that happened, but I'm listening to a podcast, and it's talking about like the 21 ways to continue to be poor. And those 21 ways they're vital for you to know, like, okay, I shouldn't be doing this, so those are things that, if you're a woman that's daring to be a millionaire, then one, we need to change our mindset, the way that we look at things, and really tell ourselves, like how my son and I were telling ourselves during that run, we can do this. We can do this. And really change the words that are coming into your minds, and like Helen was saying earlier, when you say, I believe I'm going to be a millionaire, are you really saying it out of the belief that you will be, or are you saying it with trepidation? Because there's that energy flow. So when you're saying it and you feel like there's that sense of fear or that sense of question mark, then your energy won't move towards that direction. So when we say it, we really have to believe in it. What do you think?
And believing is really tough, especially if you have this self-doubt or feel intimidation or comparison jumps in. So it is a practice. Like I said, 10 years ago when I said it, I believed it through my words, not my actions, not in my heart, as I do today. And the difference between then and now is I've done the work. I'm taking the action steps towards how to build millions, how to bring in that wealth. And when you dare to be rich, when you dare to become a millionaire, when you dare to be successful as a woman, just know there's going to be obstacles. The odds will be stacked against you. Women have been suppressed for years, for millenniums. Okay. And this is our chance to shine. This is our little light that just opened up for us to walk through. And when you walk through, put your hand back and grab another sister and help her through, and then have her take back her hand and help another sister through, because this is really a golden opportunity for all of us to get through. Because still in the workforce, men are still ruling the arena. Men are still ruling the arena in the workforce, in the financial institutes, in Hollywood, in our school systems, in politics, in the podcasting arena, in the, there's so many areas. And it's not to bash our brothers out there. It's really to uplift women. We always talk about equality. We're equal. We're not equal. We have a long way to go. And in order for us to see the light of equality, we've got to be the ones to take the steps forward. And that's why it's so important to dare to be rich. I mean, tap into that adolescent part of you. Because remember when you were a teenager? When I was a teenager, I was cray. I was so daring. I was like, watch me. There was something so infectious about my teenage, crazy, wild, adventurous side. And I always have to tap into that, because now I'm like becoming a little slower turtle. I'm tired a lot. And you were talking about the 21 things of not to do. Procrastination was on there. And I was like, yep, I'm so guilty of complacency and procrastination, because I have everything I've ever wanted. So I've got to tap into my why. Why do I want to become a millionaire? And, it's so important, because the whys are usually, they run deep. They can even make you cry sometimes, because they're that powerful. And you need to tap into that along with your adolescent teen and just make some big moves. Dare to be rich.
So I want to say that women just started working in 1941. So we just got the ability to work in 1941. Heck, I think my dad is about that age. So that was what, 70 some years ago, right? So it's really not that long ago that us women were able to fully work again. Yeah, so it's, let me just say, National Service Act 1941 made the conscription of women into the workplace legal. At first, only single women in their 20s were called up, but within 2 years, almost 90% of single women and 80% of married women were employed in essential work for the effort. All right, so that's one little fact. The other little fact I wanted to share is that the American College found that 45% of American millionaires are women, about 1.5 million. I don't know if this is from CNBC.com. This is old, so this was 2013. So I can imagine there's much more, many more millionaire women out there. And so what I want to say is that the other thing about millionaires, let me share something. Hold on, because I found another fun fact. And that fun fact is majority of the millionaires are actually found in the finance industry.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I was just actually telling my son this. We had a conversation over the phone. He's stationed in Italy right now. And I said, if you want to become wealthy, start training your brain and feeding your mind and listening to books all about money, financial wealth building, and paying off debt and investing, because that is, if you basically feed yourself that's what's going to be mirrored in your world, just like attracts like. And that actually is what happened to me. Talking about, I'm going to share it. In January, in January, I was doing the Listen to 31 podcast about money every single day. And I happened to listen to 28, not 31, no big deal. And doors were opening for me in the financial industry. That's never happened to me before. I have a background in other things. And I saw the door open and I was like, ooh, I don't know, like I'm not good at math and I'm not sure. And immediately I could hear myself saying, that's a narrative that you've been telling yourself for years and years and years. It is time to change that story. And I ended up stepping through one of those doors to become a financial strategist. So I'm on my way there. I'm not there completely yet, but I'm going to let everybody, I'm going to sound the horn when I am. But right now I'm doing a lot of studying. I'm doing the work that it takes to get certified and licensed and all that arena. But it's for me, it's very empowering. And I have you to thank, January, because you're the one who really opened that door for me, because you are a financial strategist. And it just makes sense what you just said. Women who dare to be rich. There's a Native American woman that I joined her group, and she sells hair products. And she tells a story about how she was working, she was unhappy, and she get jobs, she was unhappy. Same story I had my whole entire life. Jobs fail, jobs fail, jobs fail. And she decided that she wanted to get into hair care. So she went to school for that. But then she just didn't feel like her clients appreciated her. So she starts making her own serums, all holistic. Oh my God, now she's making tons of money selling her own products out of her own home. And she's so happy because she knows her products are holistic. They're good for your hair. They're good for your body. And, she's sticking to her culture and her traditions. And for her, she feels so good. And she feels like she's living her purpose now. I think about that. Now as going back to the financial industry, that may not be the financial industry, but when you look at the energy of that energy is going to attract that abundance of energy. That money is going to flow back and forth so freely. And it's the same thing with the financial industry. When you like what you do, you're going to attract you're going to attract the millions, just like her hair care products, just like if you're an artist out there, singing, making music, or podcasting, or writing a book, or writing blogs.
Yeah, there's all sorts of ways to make millions. And I think one of the things that we should be mindful of is, and we mentioned this, you mentioned this earlier, is why do you want to become a millionaire? Why is it so important to you? I am actually not motivated by money. So it's not about the money. So I can say I want to be a millionaire, but there's a reason why I want to be a millionaire. And I love that our podcast is Sexy Freedom Media Podcast, because being a millionaire, to me, what that means is freedom. It means freedom. It means freedom to do whatever it is that I want to do. I was talking to a client last week, and we were talking about, her wealth building. And she said, I want the freedom to just give money away. That is exactly what I'd like to do, is to be able to give money, well, specifically to women and children of abused relationships. So that is something that's deep in my heart. That's the why that makes me cry. And so being a millionaire, when we talk about women daring to be a millionaire, I really want for you to dig deep in terms of why it is that you want to be a millionaire. Because money really it's really not the end goal. It's not the end goal for me. Even though I say I want to be a millionaire, the millions will come. Millions will come. It's just a matter of, well, why, and that why is going to drive us. The how, Helen, we're already in this industry. So as I mentioned earlier, the finance and investment profession is where a lot of millionaires are made. In fact, there's 371 billionaires in the finance industry. Another statistic I wanted to share was that this is the real one. Okay, so this is the updated version. There are 33% US millionaires are women. So 33% of US millionaires are women. There are 22 million millionaires. So there's a lot of millionaires out there. And I guess what I'm trying to say, and why I'm trying to add this, is that there is money out there to be made. And if you're sitting on your butt and you're not moving yourself, moving the needle forward, or learning, like what Helen was saying, you are losing out on millions to be made. And so what I love about CJ Walker is that she was relentless. And that was the one thing about her personality that drew me, was that she wouldn't take no. She wouldn't take no for an answer. There was always going to be like, no, we're going to have this. She was so determined. And I think those are one of the there's several qualities I feel that you need in order to become a millionaire. One of them is not procrastination. That is definitely number one. No procrastination. What other traits do you feel that women should have when they're daring to be rich? What other traits do you think they should have, Helen?
I think in personal experience, when you're daring to be rich, you're daring to step out there. You're also putting yourself out there to be vulnerable. People are going to laugh at you. People are not going to believe in you. Your own family might say, okay. You might find yourself saying, okay. You've got to stand your ground. You've got to stand your ground and become unshakable with an unwavering faith that it's going to happen for you. And you might be trying to do something in a certain direction and feel like you've done it for 2 years and nothing's happened. Okay. But I'm going to tell you something has happened, because in those 2 years, maybe you didn't make the money that you were hoping you'd make, but you gained a hell of a lot of experience that can take you to getting those millions if you shift onto a different road, if you shift it to a different direction. So if something's not working for you and that money is not coming in, take your experience and change the direction. Try something new. I like to say, try on different outfits. And those outfits are work experiences, money goals, different networking different networking parties. So let's just say you're involved in this networking group, switch it, go to this networking group, and really try to see how your experience can develop into that cash flow.
So I always like to say that there's plan A through plan Z. So if plan A wasn't working, go to plan B, then plan C, right? And you continue on. I actually had a really great discussion with one of my colleagues, and we were talking about processes and systems, which is something that I read in the Atomic Habits. Love that. In the Atomic Habits, he talked about goals and how sometimes we're so fixated on the goal, like the goal to run a marathon, the goal to be a millionaire, right? But really, what we should be fixated on is our system and our system to get there. Bill Walsh, the 49er coach, he was also obsessed with the system and how he was training, his players. He said that the win will always be there. The win will be there, but we have to know our system first in order to get there. So it'll happen as long as we have our systems in check. So when we're talking about plan A through plan Z, there's all sorts of ways to get to become a millionaire. So all various ways to become a millionaire. You just have to find the one that clicks for you and just continue to do that thing. And like what Helen was saying, even if you don't make that million in that first year, that second year, that third year, whatever, you are still creating this avalanche effect. You may not see it now. And it talks about that in the Atomic Habits too. It's that 1% change. So when we're continuously learning, like through the podcast, through books, through even just our discussions, we are growing and we don't see it just yet. But when the time comes, that snowball effect will happen and you'll be like, it'll just blow up. You're like, oh, you grew, we grew.
I want to mention the 7 habits that I learned in Rachel Rodgers' book, Everyone Should Be a Millionaire. I wanted to share this here. And it's also posted in our Sexy, Successful, and Soul-Fed Facebook group. So if you're not in there, definitely join. But the 7 habits you should be practicing daily to be a millionaire that she mentions at the end of her book. I'm going to name the 7. 1, delegate one thing every day to someone else, because that shows your leadership skills. 2, connect with your squad. Support the people who support you. And we talked about this in our Valentine's Day episode, where reach out to your friends, nurture your relationships, because you're always one relationship away from getting what you want. Number 3, do one money generating activity a day. So that one was really key because, if you're studying like I am in the front to get your license, if you're reading a book, these are all steps to generate income. But like January was saying, focus on your strategy. That is something you're doing every day to generate money. 4, think $1 million thoughts, not broke ass thoughts. I really love that. She talks about it through the whole book about having broke ass thoughts and where that can lead you versus having money thoughts. Freaking fabulous. Oh my God, it's so good. Let's see. 5. Look at your, no, I'm sorry. That was 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5. Look at your money every day. Ask questions. Ask yourself questions about your money. Be grateful and support your goals. So she talks about, and you know what? She's not the only person that talks about this. Numerous financial gurus talk about looking at your money every single day. First thing in the morning is the most time that everybody looks at it. So let's see, that's 4, 5, 6. Move your body daily. I like her perspective on this because she says, don't move your body just to get skinny or lose weight. Move your body because it's important for your mental health. And that is actually why I work out all the time. It is my mental health medicine, hands down, for sure. Number 7, set and enforce boundaries. Raise your standards and values. I like this one because she talks about her kids a lot in the book and how they would just come in, interrupt her, come in, interrupt her. Her husband would come in and interrupt her. And she'd get phone calls that it would interrupt her. And she would say that she didn't have boundaries set with them. So she started setting boundaries every day and also raising her standards and values, like setting boundaries with other people, setting boundaries with her workspace, setting boundaries with her emails. I mean, it was really in depth. I loved it. And just a bonus thing that she said is write down 25 ways to make money in a month. I loved it because there's so many ways to make money out there. We're going to do another episode on how to do that, but there's hundreds of ways to make money out there. And there's people out there that say, but how? I don't know where to start. Don't worry. Me and January got your back. We're putting something together. She doesn't know yet, but we're going to talk after this. We're going to set up a workshop and we're going to invite you on our next podcast to join to learn financial strategies and ways to make money. So those are her 7 habits that you should do daily to become a millionaire.
I love the 7 habits. I'm going to recap. So the first one was, oh my gosh, what was the first one, Helen?
Delegate one thing every day to someone else. That shows your leadership skills.
Delegating one thing. Okay, so delegating one thing to somebody else. Absolutely. Because, okay, so I cannot do everything at home. Okay, so there's just no way. So my son, he takes out the trash, he takes out the, he does the sometimes he does the laundry. All right. So I will delegate. I have delegated a lot of stuff to him and to my daughter because I know that they can handle it. And that helps me focus on work. So that is definitely something that I am doing. So what's number 2?
Number 2, connect with your squad, support the people who support you.
Yes. Okay. So connecting with the squad, I love these 7 tips because they remind me a lot of the Blue Zones Project. And I know I've mentioned this before, but the Blue Zones Project has the power of 9. And one of the power of 9 is being in community. And I love that because we do have to be in community. And, when we're in business, we actually are dealing with another human being. So we have to learn how to interrelate with another person. So when we're in our community, we're able to practice our skills, and to really dig down to when we're with our friends, we're able to be transparent and really dig deep into our souls and the things that affect us, that make us happy or sad or whatever. So yes. What was number 3?
Number 3, do one money generating activity every day.
Okay. So there was this one network marketer that I followed, and he was saying, you put 10 coins in your pocket, and then every time that you talk to somebody, right, you're going to move that coin over to your other pocket, right? And so you move all your 10 coins to the next pocket, right? And
I love that.
Yeah. So that. It's not so much a money generating, but you're actually building relationships when you meet those 10 people, right? So that's number 1. But the money generating for us in the finance industry is actually booking a call. Okay, so those are money generating. When you book an appointment, it's money generating. So you always want your calendar to be full, right? And so that as a financial strategist, that's what I have to do. I'm sure with a network marketer, you have to be talking to people. So it's majority of the times we are talking to people. Number 4.
So number 4 was think $1 million thoughts, not broke ass thoughts.
Yeah, for sure. Because when you are thinking, okay, when I was thinking that lack mindset and like, oh my gosh, is my debit card gonna be, declined? Is my, and you're like, oh my gosh, do I have enough money for this? Oh my gosh. So you're thinking all these like negative things, and it's just you're attracting that. So when you're thinking those thoughts, it's actually like the energy is going that way, because you're feeling like I'm broke. So then when you say that and when you put it, so I'm not broke actually, and I will tell my daughter, because we went to the library. We went to the library, and I typically have cash in my purse. Okay, typically I have cash, but I like to change my purses because I don't know, I'm a girl, so I'm fancy, I'm fabulous like that. Okay, so I have like different purses. Well, I didn't move my cash from my other purse into this other purse, and so I said, well, I have my debit card, fine. Okay, so I'm paying the library fee with my debit card, and they're like, oh, it's cash only. I'm like, so, and my daughter was there. So I had to tell her, I'm like, I have cash. Okay. I have cash. It's not, I have money in my debit card, but the library wants cash. And so we went home, and I'm like, look, I'm like, I got cash. All right. So, cause I want her to know, I want her to feel abundant. I want her to feel and know that we are financially stable, and not like, oh my gosh, I got declined. No. So the whole mindset is everything. You gotta feel it. And something I just said earlier, you gotta believe it and feel it and say it to yourself. Sometimes you gotta fake it till you make it. And you just keep telling yourself that shit, and you're like, okay, I'm rich, bitch. And you just keep saying it. Just keep saying it, keep saying it. And eventually
Yes. I'm rich, bitch. I just want to say that all the time.
What's number 5?
Okay, number 5 was look at your money every day, ask questions. And the ask questions part was, ask yourself questions like, how do I feel about it today? Where am I investing it? Where did the rest of it go? Things like that. Be grateful and support your goals.
So number 1, be grateful. So that's the one thing I want to say. When you look at your money, thank you. Thank you for being in there. Whatever it is, thank you. Okay. So when you're in gratitude, because that's a part of being a millionaire, right? When millionaires are constantly grateful, like you will not know a millionaire because they're not going to dress like it, So sometimes like, I feel like people get misconstrued with how a millionaire looks. A millionaire is not somebody with the gold and the diamonds and the, the Gucci.
I mean, exhibit A.
So that is not it at all, So millionaires are actually super humble and super grateful, and they're always helping other people. And that's like, I'm really getting chicken skin just talking about it. So when you look at your money, the first thing is to say, thank you, right? Thank you. And you look at your money, and then you say, okay, so it's kind of like you're auditing yourself. So you audit yourself every day, you check in, okay, where's my money going? You got to know where your money is flowing.
Well, it's like they say, boss women, all you boss ladies out there, you're the boss, but your first employee is you.
Yeah.
So monitor.
And pay yourself first. That's probably, so as a financial strategist, a retirement specialist, pay yourself first. I am reading articles on retirees that are losing their social security, or their social security is minuscule. And just yesterday, they put out that in 2035, the government will only be paying 75% of your social security benefits. And so that, I knew not to really trust the social security, right? That's something that's like absolute for me. I don't see it as my retirement plan. So when we're thinking about retirement, okay, let me backtrack, because a lot of us in our 40s, 30s, 20s, we're not thinking about retirement. Okay. When you're 20, 30, you're like, I just want to have fun, or I just want to, like live life or whatever. And we're not really thinking about retirement goals. But that's when you should be. So you should be thinking about your retirement goals.
Yeah. All right. The next one was move your body daily because it supports mental health and focus.
Okay, so move your body. And that's also in the Blue Zones Project. It talks about moving your body naturally. And I love that because it's our everything in our bodies, like all our organisms and our lungs, they're all moving inside of us. I don't think we understand this. Blood is like flowing, and we need to not just sit down and be still. We got to move it. Move, move, move. However
We
you
gotta move it, move it. We gotta move it, move it, move it.
it gives you that happy energy when you move. So it's vital to move. So yes. Thanks for the reminder. Oh, you're on mute.
The seventh one was set and enforce boundaries, raise your standards and values.
Girl. All right. So look, I'm working on that. I am working on that. So that number 7, I'm going to tell you, when you're your own boss, sometimes you get misconstrued about the time in terms of like working, right? So because you can set your hours however you want to set them. So because one, I work from home, because 2, I can set my hours however I want. There are moments that my clients will call me like during holidays or like, late at night, and I'll take them because I'm like, oh, I want to serve them. Right. And which is nice. However, there are office hours. So I need to abide by my office hours because that is it. So at this time, my phone should be shut off, and I'm not talking about business, because if I don't, I will talk about business every single hour of the day because I am so passionate about it. But I need to give myself that boundary as well, because if we don't give ourselves that boundary, then we're allowing somebody else to control our time. Our time is valuable.
For me, when I heard that one and I thought, okay, how do you practice that every single day? One of the boundaries that instantly came to my mind was the fear of missing out on going to bars. And right now I'm on my path with health, not just wealth, but I've really cut alcohol big time, because, everybody knows I loved past tense, loved wine. I was a huge wine drinker. I mean, I was drinking wine almost every single day. I don't have a problem with drinking one in a blue moon, but it was really, alcohol is a depressant. So it started bringing me down. And then I started feeling like I was missing out, not being able to go to the bars with my friends. So every day I found out something new about myself, that I was craving this feeling of going out to a bar with a friend. So I realized these are boundaries I need to put on myself to protect my health. Protecting my throne, my mind, body, spirit, is setting these boundaries with myself and knowing I'm not missing out. And when I do decide to go, I want to do it in a way in which I feel good about going, not because I feel like I'm going to miss out. So that was a boundary for me. And that's just one, but I've learned other boundaries, how people talk to me, how I talk to other people, as a millionaire mindset that I've built for myself, that I'm currently molding and shape for myself. I realize there's a certain way I want to be talked to by other people, but people will treat you how you allow them to treat you. So it's very important that you do set boundaries and raise your standards and values for yourself, especially with your friends.
Ooh, I feel like that's just a podcast that we should be talking about, are just boundaries.
Yes, girl.
Because that is key. That is key to relationships. It's key to business. So yeah, I love that we talked about this, Helen, because on the journey to becoming a millionaire, there's several steps to get there. It's not just like, yeah, I'll do it like right now. Yeah, nah, you got to actually work through it. You got to work through. And when I say work through it, Helen mentioned there's going to be obstacles, and there's going to be mindsets that will creep in and will disrupt your flow to becoming a millionaire. So we want to be sure that your energy, your flow, the direction that we're going to is that 1% positive change. So we are moving towards that direction. I love this. I love this conversation, Helen.
I do too. And Rachel Rodgers, if you're listening, you've inspired us by your book, Everyone Should Be a Millionaire. I'm definitely going to be looking into her products, her Facebook groups, anything she's got, because I love what she's out there teaching. And also, I think we'll wrap it up now because we've provided so much. And if you are out there, a woman who is thinking you're at what is it, like the gap, you're at that beginning mark where you're ready to jump over and become a millionaire or start your journey to becoming a millionaire. You are a woman who dares to be rich. I want to say hats off to you, because I believe in you. I'm sure January believes in you.
I believe in you.
We want to see you succeed. And we want to hear all about your story. If you're somebody who's on that beginning step, somebody who's thinking about doing it, or somebody who has taken that step, somebody who's in the mid journey, somebody who's made the journey and who has become a millionaire, we want to hear from you. March is going to be our January. Explain what.
Ooh, our March is going to be women and money. So we are talking about empowered women, since it is Women's Month for March. But we also want to discuss, money. That's something that we want to grow upon. We talked about that in January, and we want to flow through with it in March. Money is something that we need. It's something that will sustain us for life. And we get experiences through money. Okay, so it's not really the money, it's the experiences, right? So the month of March, we are going to be talking about empowered women and money.
I love it. Yes, go check out our Facebook group page, Sexy, Successful, and Soul Fed. You'll find the link in our show notes. Also, our other Facebook page, Everything Woman, that's our Amazon affiliate page. You can find a bunch of fun stuff that we post on there. Or join our page and follow our page, Sexy Freedom Media. We've got a lot of great things on there. Go check out January.
You can find me on LinkedIn, January Liddell. You can find me Facebook and Instagram, VIP Finance Builders. I do post a lot of articles that are happening in our, the money world and the finance world, whether it be like stock markets or Social Security or retirement. So a lot of the articles that I post are valuable. Sometimes you don't even talk about it, right? So this is a great forum for us to actually start that conversation. So please follow me, VIP Finance Builders, on Facebook and Instagram.
That's right. You can find me, Helen Edwards, on Instagram, Hell of a Journey. There it is. You can find us on Sexy Freedom Media on all of our platforms. Check out my book, Nothing Sexier Than Freedom, on Amazon, available on Audible. Please subscribe, share this if you felt that it has inspired you or empowered you in some way. Please give us a 5-star rating, or give us a written review on iTunes, and leave your Instagram handle, and we will share it on our stories. So thank you very much, and everybody have a great week. Ahia.
Aloha.
Want to hear more?
Visit us at SexyFreedomMedia.com.